12 emerging brass musicians from the brass band scene in Johannesburg have developed a program of brass music on the theme of joy. This is the result of a project by the Goethe Institute titled Brass Roots, and the selected ensemble will perform their repertoire at a concert in Parktown later today. The artists who worked with veteran brass musicians Wyatt and Hitzeroth, who selected the works, composed new arrangements and rehearsed with the musicians they recruited over December. While Wyatt and Hitzeroth now join us in studio to tell us more about the project. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Marcus, let me start with you. I mean, how did this project of Brass Roots come about, and what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, it was one of the guys from the Goethe Institute, Francois Fenter, approached me, and we have another project that we're involved in, Alex and I, called Bomb Shelter Beast, and he's a fan of this project, and he's a fan of brass band music. As we found out last night, he gave us a great speech about why he loves this music so much. So he called me and he said that for the Mozart Festival they're wanting to put something on that, because the theme of the whole festival was humor and joy and fun, basically. So they wanted to put together something, but at the same time that they wanted to have something fun, they wanted to put together a project that could have legs, that could continue into the future, that could sustain itself, but also could develop young talent. So it's been interesting, actually, because this is the first gig that Brass Roots will do, and that's why this man sitting next to me is so important, because he's very thick in the whole process of teaching young kids how to play brass instruments in Johannesburg, and so we've found quite a mixture of young players from all around Joburg who've come together, and we've spent a good week or so rehearsing to put the concert on today, and it's been a real joy, actually, to work with these kids. Because brass band music, I think, in Johannesburg has not necessarily been pushed into the limelight ever, really. I know that in the Cape, in Cape Town and in Port Elizabeth, where we're both from, there's a very big heritage, brass band heritage, whereas in Joburg it's not so much. So it's really great to bring that up to Joburg and to push it into the limelight.
Phenomenal. Alex, I want to talk about just getting everybody together, how you recruited these musicians. I mean, just being able to put everything together, teach them the music, and of course to put on the show that you're going to be putting on today. How hectic was it?
That was actually quite a cool process. With our brief, I mean, from the Goethe Institute, they asked us to find young musicians around Johannesburg to give them this opportunity to work with professional musicians playing South African music, playing music that they wouldn't normally play in their normal spheres. So we found players from the Field Band Foundation. We're very thankful to them for the musicians we got from them. Some who belong to the Johannesburg Youth Orchestra Company, who does great work with music education in Johannesburg, and then also from churches around. So we've got guys from the St. James Brass Band in Soweto, we've got guys from the Salvation Army, we've got guys from the Moravian Church. So there's a lot of church elements in that as well, and that's a big part of brass music as well, I think, of the brass heritage. I started playing in my brass band at my church in Port Elizabeth when I was 8 years old. And that's just something that's been with me forever, really. And it's the same for a lot of these musicians who started in their church bands. And with time, with practice, they will eventually become professional musicians.
For people who will be attending to see these performances, what is in store for them?
That's really cool. So a project like this gives us the opportunity to actually write music for brass band that would normally not be written. So we're playing music by South African jazz greats like Dudu Pukane, Winston Mankunku. We're doing some music from Klopse music from Cape Town. So a very South African feel to the performance. We will sneak in some classical music as well, because that's a really big part of our training, for musicians training as well. So we've tried to cover as much music as we can, but keeping the focus very African, or very South African, in fact.
Marcus, young people, the interest from young people, you mentioned earlier on that, brass music is something that was never quite thrust into the spotlight. What do you think makes young people want to be a part of this sort of thing? And what makes young people sit up and pay attention when there's all sorts of music, rap and gom and club music and
I guess it can be a bit of a losing battle. I think probably Alex would be able to answer this better than me. I think, if they can be around, I think that's why musicians from the Cape and from the Eastern Cape in particular gravitate to it more is that they grow up in those environments. Like Alex said, a lot of the musicians come from a church environment. So the way that they grow up, you know, they from their first memories, every Sunday or every Thursday when there's band practice, they hear this music, and often that will encourage a child to want to pick up those instruments and get out there and join the band and be a part of something like that. I think in Joburg it hasn't necessarily been like that. That's why these organizations that Alex mentioned, the field band, the youth orchestra, all of these companies are so important, because they're trying to find young talent and get them enthusiastic about this music and about playing instruments, because I think even playing instruments these days is a little bit of a dying art. You know, everyone's a DJ, everyone's making beats, and to actually that almost the lost art of actually playing an instrument it's really important as well for the development of young people. You know, it aids in so many spheres of our life. So yeah, I think it's about creating an environment where they actually can be enthusiastic, they can see music all around them, and therefore want to be a part of it. I think that's the best way, and I think for many years that didn't happen, and I see it happening much more now. I know that Alex is teaching a lot of kids around the city.
Indeed.
So it's great. Hopefully it builds as we go.
I'm pretty sure it will. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We are out of time. All the best, and we'll certainly be coming to see the show. Thank you so much. That's veteran brass musicians Marcus Wyatt and Alex Hitzeroth speaking to us about a project titled Brass Roots, where the pair worked with 12 emerging brass musicians from the brass band scene in Johannesburg, to develop a program of brass music on the theme of